Hi everybody and welcome back. What did you do during your first year of retirement? Or what do you plan on doing during your first year of retirement? Now recently I was asked that very same question about myself. It's a great question. In fact, about 5 months ago I did a video on the topic, and today I thought that I would revisit that very same subject with an updated version of what I call my 1-year reset. Now here's what happened to me, and this is what I did. Shortly after I retired, people would often walk up to me and ask, well, now that you're retired, what are you going to do now? And my response was typical. It sounded something like this: well, I don't know. I'm just going to take some time off and figure it out as I go. But as the weeks passed by and people were still asking me that very same question, my focus became sharpened and my response became this: I'm taking 1 year off to do a reset. For the first 12 months, for the first year of my retirement, I'm not looking for a job. I'm not looking for volunteer work. I'm not going to jump out of the frying pan and into the fire just so that I can tell people that I'm still busy and being productive. I'm not going to volunteer for anything. I'm not going to obligate myself for anything. I'm not going to commit my time to anything. And I'm not going to run myself ragged in my first year of retirement until I figure things out. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to take care of myself first and get some rest. I'm going to do a 1-year reset. Now that single word right there, reset, perfectly captured the idea of what I wanted to do for myself in that first year. So that's exactly what I did. I took 12 months off to do nothing except just focus on myself. And essentially my first year looked like this. I rested, ate good food, exercised, got some sleep, then it was rinse and repeat. And I did that for 12 months. By the way, if you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Ronnie. Thanks for stopping by. The goal of this channel is to offer encouragement and practical advice for working class people, especially in the areas of health, finance, and retirement. So if you think you'll like the content here, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and feel free to subscribe. So that's what I did in my first year. Is I took what I call a 1-year reset, and let's talk about that concept, reset. Now you already know what a reset is, right? You think of your electronic devices when you think of that word. Maybe your router or your computer or your cable box on your TV is kind of like going haywire and the lights are flashing and going crazy. And so the way that you fix that is you unplug the device, give it time for it to reset, then you plug it back in and it works well again. Well, guess what? Almost anything will work better if you unplug it for a while, including you and including me. After working for almost all of my life, in fact, since I was a teenager, I was ready to just be done with it all. All of those years working the way that I did really did a number on me. And when I retired, I knew that I needed a reset. I needed an emotional reset, and I needed a physical reset. It's kind of like an extended sabbatical where you just take a Sabbath, and you take an extended Sabbath, where I could just rest and recover and just kind of get my equilibrium back. I've heard people say that it takes about a year of sleeping and taking naps just to get your energy back after all of those decades of working for a living. And you know, I found that to be true for myself. I've taken a lot of naps since I have retired, guilt-free naps, I might add. Plus, I'm now averaging about 8 or 9 hours of sleep at night. And it used to be when I was working that if I woke up in the middle of the night, I would think about something that was related to work, and then I would lay awake there for 2 or 3 hours and not able to go back to sleep. Well, after I retired, it took a few months for that to go away. I would wake up in the middle of the night and still be thinking about work, but because I was on this extended sabbatical or my reset, I just stayed with it. And after a few months, if I woke up in the middle of the night, there was nothing for me to think about. There was nothing for me to be worrying about related to work. And that eventually passed. And now that I'm a couple years into retirement, now if I wake up in the middle of the night, there's nothing bothering me. I just roll over and go back to sleep, and I get 8 or 9 hours of sleep a night, unheard of whenever I was working, and that is why I needed a reset. When you've been working in a high-pressure environment, or when you've just been working for most of the decades of your life, we don't realize how much of a toll that takes upon us and how unhealthy it is, or how much stress that you're actually carrying around. It's kind of like that old parable of the frog and the kettle. You've probably heard that before. You put a frog, there's a frog in a pan of water, and it's set on top of a stove over a very low heat. Now, the frog is not alarmed. The temperature slowly rises, and because it's rising slowly, the frog senses no sense of danger, and so he just simply adapts to the rising temperature. And the temperature rises a little bit more, and he adapts. It rises a little bit more, and he adapts again. And he just keeps adapting and adapting and adapting to the rising temperature of his environment until eventually he's laying there and he's cooked alive. Now, the same thing happens to us over the course of our working career and over all those decades of working. We just don't realize how much stress that we are shouldering and how stressful our work environment really has been upon us. We just keep adapting to it and adapting and adapting and adapting to it, and it just keeps piling up and piling up and piling up until eventually we're walking around with what feels like a low-grade fever all the time, and this has now become our new walking normal. Now, when I was working, I knew that I was under stress, and I did a pretty good job of managing that stress. But I didn't realize how bad it was until I got out from under it. Yes, I knew I was under stress, but I didn't know how much until I got away from it all. It was like the weight of the world being lifted off of me. When you're living in the middle of a brain fog, you can't see clearly. And it's hard to even diagnose yourself when your mind is in a brain fog. And once I retired and just began to rest, the weight lifted off of me, my equilibrium came back, my vision cleared up, and my state of mind greatly improved. And when I think about it now, I could never go back to being that frog in the kettle, if you will. After decades of weekly deadlines and interrupted vacations, quarterly goals and budget fights, why would I even consider going back to it all? It would be insanity. At least it would be for me to go back to that kind of environment. In fact, one of the benefits of my 1-year reset was being able to enjoy slow mornings. For that first year, when my wife and I got up in the morning, we would spend the first hour and a half to 2 hours on our front porch drinking coffee and enjoying what I call slow mornings. We would watch it get daylight, watch the birds come to the bird feeders, and what an enjoyment that really was for us. No more quick showers in the morning and dashing out the door and gulping down a cup of coffee as I dash out the door and only to get stuck in traffic on my way to the office. Now, because of the slow mornings, there's no more drama, no more stress, no more argumentative coworkers, or any workplace politics. And now that I've been retired for 2 years, this has become a fixture in our daily routine. Slow mornings. Slow mornings on the front porch. And I can't tell you how helpful and therapeutic that was for me to just enjoy slow mornings and slow days in my first year of retirement without obligating myself or spreading myself too thin to anyone or anything else. I just had slow mornings and slow days. Now, my days are mine. The balance has shifted and come back towards me. My life is mine. And this is really a gift. It's a newfound gift that has changed my life. If you're close to retiring or you have recently retired, I would like to offer you 2 tips for your consideration that might help you navigate your way through your first year of retirement. Number 1, you probably need to do a reset yourself. Now, you may not need to, but you probably do. Because we just don't know how much stress we're under until we actually get out from under it. Doing a reset or taking an extended sabbatical is very helpful and beneficial to us in many ways. It's good for your mental health. It's good for your physical health. And this is also a time that you can reconnect with a stranger in your life, namely yourself. This is a time when you can rediscover old interests that you used to have, or reconnect with old friends of yours and renew your strength. For me, aside from improving my state of mind, this 1-year reset allowed me to spend more time with my family. I could spend more time with my mother, who is still alive, still living. I was able to spend more time with my children and my grandchildren, which is something I enjoy immensely. And my wife and I have also enjoyed spending more time together, because we actually do enjoy each other's company. And that first year was just absolutely fantastic. And even if you don't need to do a reset, you can still benefit by taking some extended time off to take care of yourself, to focus on yourself after all of those years of focusing and taking care of others. As I mentioned earlier, for my first 12 months, for the first 12 months of my retirement, I spent most of my time resting, eating good food, exercising, going to sleep. Then when I got up, it was rinse and repeat and do the same thing all over again. And what that did for me, I cannot tell you. It was just priceless. But that isn't the only thing that I did in my first year. For recreation, my wife and I spent a lot of time at the beach, fishing and relaxing. We did a lot of hiking and canoeing through a local state forest that we live nearby. In fact, we just did some a couple days ago. We also took a trip in our first year during that 1-year reset. We took a trip to North Florida, which is about 4 or 5 hours away from where I live. And we visited some of the Clearwater Springs in north central Florida, which are absolutely fantastic. You can get in those pools of water and look down 40 feet deep, and it just looks like it's 2 feet deep. It was just a great trip for us. And the best part of all of this is that none of this cost a great deal of money. For a solid year, I did nothing except rest, recreate, and enjoy myself, and it barely cost any money. And yet I felt like I was living the life of a millionaire. It was absolutely therapeutic for me to take a year off for a reset. And I was healed in that first year. I was healed. So that's the real value of doing a reset. Number 2, another tip that I would like to offer for your consideration is this. Number 2, it's not selfish to take care of yourself. And may I also add, it's not selfish to take care of yourself first. It's essential. It's not self-indulgent either. It's an act of survival to take care of yourself. Whatever you choose to do in your reset, whether it's spending time in the gym or getting out in nature or becoming unbusy or simply resting, you owe it to yourself to do it for yourself. It's your turn. I don't have to elaborate on this, how vital and how important a reset is. You already know it's true. In fact, you probably feel it whenever I say it. Just take care of yourself, and take care of yourself first. And don't feel guilty about it either. Here's why. After you retire, you still have got a life to live, and your life matters. So it's up to you, no one else. It's up to you to do what's best for you. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to fix things for you. It's up to us to do for ourselves. And that's what resilience is all about. Well, that's all for now. I'm curious to hear your thoughts and opinions on this subject, so leave me a comment down below. Other people will be interested in what you've got to say as well, so share it with the world. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button and feel free to subscribe. Also, remember, you can share this video with others who you might think could benefit from it. Remember, it's very important to take, for me, it was very important to take a 1-year reset or an extended sabbatical, and maybe that can help you navigate your way through your first year of retirement as well. Well, I'm Ronnie. Take care, and we will see you next time.